As you know, we have had very good success post launch of Blazo, when Blazo was our redefining moment, because we have been there for 7-8 years for heavy trucks, and before that even for light commercial vehicle. By light commercial vehicle, we are already number 3 player, and with a good market share of 10 to 12%, in some segments 14% wherever we operate in buses and trucks. But it's the heavy trucks where we were the new entrant. We started in JV with Navistar. After that, we are right now 100% Mahindra company, and now we are a division. Initially we went up with the product. We got some traction, but there was few things which customers were demanding more, and then we went back to the drawing board. And 2 years back, in February 2016, actually, we effectively relaunched the company with the introduction of Blazo. And what we did in Blazo is that we went back. Literally, it was recreating the whole company. So we went back to the drawing board, asked all the questions. So we saw a lot of trends happening. So we saw that in heavy truck industry, which has been in India known for huge amount of overloading. But the industry, we could see that the industry is moving towards rated load, with overload penalty coming in and being enforced in many markets. The huge premium on fuel efficiency was already there, but in the rated load regime, that will become much higher, because the offset which people used to do by carrying extra load beyond the rated load, one is not going to be enjoying, and hence the premium on fuel efficiency was further very high. Then we realized that India is going through huge transformation all across. So you look across the world, whether it is services sector, phone, or the way you book airline ticket, or everything has transformed. Now trucking cannot remain where it was, and trucks cannot be where what India has seen in last couple of decades. So we realize that it's a matter of time. The question is not whether, the question is when the Indian trucking industry will move towards somewhere where the European market is. And that's with that in mind we came up with Blazo, where we have launched a product where for the first time in the industry we said that we are going to guarantee the fuel efficiency, and guarantee that it is the best. No, so a year back we were around 3.5%, and we said, I mean, double means 7%. If you ask me personally, uh, in any industry, our, our 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 aspiration is that we have to be a credible number 3 brand in this industry, because this industry has for long been effectively run by the top 2 players, and we believe that consumer and the industry has a lot to gain if the market opens a bit more, which of course is not going to happen automatically, and not that the leaders will cede an inch of space which they are already occupying. But that's our aspiration, that we have to be credible number 3, and for being a credible number 3 we have to redefine everything. So 7% is like doubling of what our market share we had last year, and I think with the acceptance which our product and services are getting, we would hopefully be there. But at the end of the day, 7% is still 7% out of 100%. So that's again will not be the end of being a credible number 3 player. In smart truck, we said that we need to up the game when it comes to safety and comfort of the driver. Safety is paramount, because it's not just about the driver, it's also about the truck and also about the consignment. Many times the consignment in the truck is far more valuable than the truck itself. And above all, the most precious thing which we are talking about is the human life, which the driver is at risk if something untoward happens. And as I said, we have done the research, and we find that almost 30-35% of the accidents are happening in the hours which is just before the day breaks, when the driver is driving in the night and he's not had a proper sleep, or even during the day if he has driven in the night and is trying to stretch himself and he feels drowsy, he is not realizing. It happens to most of us, but this is a profession where he drives 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours every day, unlike some of us who drive once in a while or when we go off. So because of drowsiness, he does not realize, but he has lost control. So this is a truck where it is sensing the driver drowsiness, and it is going to stop the truck or reduce the speed. It is sensing alcohol consumption of the driver. It is also providing things like the display of the vital parameters on the windscreen itself, so that driver does not have to remove his eye from the road and see at the dashboard. Of course, a lot of comfort features have been provided. Things like sunroof, you hear about in cars, but we are not talking about cars. We are talking about truck. Systems like automatic tire pressure monitoring system on the dash itself, and that's very crucial for the truck because it's very important for car, but because trucks are always most of the time in a loaded condition running at their peak level of what the brake and everything has been tested. So it's important to realize that if tire pressure is less, it could be a big safety issue, or if there is a puncture in a tire, it could be a safety issue. So we are providing that in the dash itself. Now these are definitely industry faced, and the list goes on. Automatic rain sensing, automatic light sensing. So all that we are providing. Traction control, collision avoiding. These are industry first for sure. Having said that, that's for India. If you go to Europe and you go to Western Europe and Americas, for example, most of these trucks are either being provided as mandated by the government, or as a differentiated offering by the respective OEMs. So we intend to provide most of them. So the intent over here is that we are going to gauge customers' response. So we are technology ready for all of them, and we can provide it tomorrow. But all of them comes at a cost, and in commercial vehicle, customers are very sensitive to any increment. So we are going to evaluate that, and over a period of time, we will start providing at least some of the safety features. Will definitely we will start providing much ahead of it becoming a norm in the industry. So, it will take time. In my view, it's not going to be as fast as with some of us may think, because there are various elements. So there is in commercial vehicle, at the end of the day, it's cost per 10 kilometer, which is important. And if you look at our operators, so I'll give you an example of a school bus operator. Your kids go to school, right? And you are paying a certain fee quarterly or monthly for your child to the school. Now, if the bus changes to electric, and the school says that, sorry, your fee will be double, you may agree, but most people will not. So that's where the trade-off is. So currently the technology is coming at a cost. So the electric bus is definitely at a higher cost than the diesel bus. Having said that, government is providing certain subsidy as part of the FEM norms. So the way I see that, because of the acceptance of the technology now, so the first hindrance is always the acceptance of the technology, and then comes the price when it comes to commercial vehicles. So what we now see happening is that we are at the cusp of technology acceptance definitely going to happen, and we are not the only one. Of course, we have the maximum experience with our Mahindra Electric team in terms of electric automotive powertrain. But this whole Auto Expo, you will see a lot of electric theme around everything, and including commercial vehicle, including buses. So we will be there along with others. So the big change which we are going to see is that now technology acceptance is going to happen, is happening now. In terms of acceptance in the market, we see it first happening through state transport undertaking uh, with the government subsidy which has been provided, and over a period of time it will come to the private commercial segment. So in buses, for sure, that will be the route. In case of trucks, it will happen through, in my view, through intra-city small commercial vehicle and light commercial vehicle first. Heavy commercial vehicle will, of course, will be the last to join the bandwagon, because as a nation, we are going to first address the challenge of charging in the cities first. Then comes to providing the charging station in the highways. So that's where the adoption will be. As I said, it's like crystal ball gazing, but like you, I'm also a fan of IC, and I think it will stay, at least for intercity long haul movement, for times to come. So for totally to phase out, we are a couple of decades away for intercity movement. But when it comes to cars, when it comes to intracity buses, intracity small commercial vehicle, it may be much sooner. But if you're talking about a 49-ton truck moving from here to Guwahati to carry goods, electric is far-fetched right now. And I hope IC remains in a much cleaner avatar than what it ever has been. I mean, if you're talking about BS6, please appreciate that, of course, with a lot of government push and initiative, but what the oil companies and automotive industry put together are trying to do in terms of migration timeline from BS4 to BS6 is not a joke. I mean, to do it in 2.5, 3 years, where anyone and everyone has done it in at least a decade. So diesel itself will be much cleaner than what it is. Having said that, electric of course is clean. The debate can always be on the source of electric, how clean is that. So electric is locally clean, globally you still have to account for carbon footprint of where it got generated. But these are the debates, and I think both the technology should and would exist, especially when it comes to heavy truck industry.